So basically, what I demand is to have proper structures of the jobs. So like even if people are working in, so basically, so what is it is about what I propose another 20 years. It's not about the election for another 4 years, but that is a different kind of issues. You have to manage all the money, how to give it to the departments, and how to manage the companies, balance all the situation, and balance the money between people and the company people, and the food stamp people and all those people, and the higher billionaires and all the millionaires and all those company people. So you have to manage all those are the all for 3 4 years project of the Joe Biden. So I'm not hurting anyone to go for not to go for any presidency. Anyone can go and run based on whatever agenda they have for managing the money for 4 5 years. So it is not about taking their uh, reputation or their pride or their money. But again, if it is a action on the departments of government actions, government departments reputation, then I come up and jump up, and then I say that the certain things has to be done in a certain way, so it doesn't hurt the departments. Then if the departments are hurt, then it hurts the company, then it hurts the government, then it hurts the country, and then it hurts the world. समझना. So it all depends on that. समझना. So whatever is done is done. So some place, so United States is on the central part, is the best countries, but there the weather is not that good. Where the weather is not good, it's the best part. There is no cracks. There is everything is fine. The cities are very well built. The towns are very well organized. The government structure is very good. Only the parts of the outskirts where it is where it can go global, where it can go global is been in trouble. Where it can go global, where it has been troubled. समझना. So that is the problem. Wherever the United States goes global, where whichever part it goes global, then it gives the problem to the whole United States of America. Everywhere it is a problem. So what I propose is so whatever elements we have, whatever the structures we have, whatever the planes we have, the structures, so artificially synthesize those materials to have the ownership of the people of the country, of the companies who created those. Suppose the Boeing has 50, not 50, around probably 10 to 20 million planes. I'm guessing, I don't know the numbers, but exactly I'm just telling you. So suppose the Boeing has 10 to 15 million planes. 25% ownership of the plane has to go back. It's kind of like a recall of the ownership, go back to the company. So the company do not lose, because if the Boeing loses, it's the airports, then there is a development, then there is all those Caterpillar there, then all those companies. Some of this is all about the airplane made the United States of America. समझ. When there is a airport, you need bigger roads, you need bigger access, then you need big airports, then there is a global interference, then there is a movement, people go and talk, and then there is a restaurants, then there is a food chain, then there is a hotels, then there is a big roads. So those things have made the United States. Okay. So we don't want to hurt the people, because what happened is, once there is a problem identification, which was done back in, when there was a 2007 or 2008 recession. That time there was a problem recognition, and 2011 also, when the Japanese has that problem, the tsunami problem, and then it although their government fall down and they got involved into recession. So I want to do that with the Japanese government also. Same thing. Every single company, every single car, 25% ownership will go to the back to the company. So what will be the issue? Issue will be saving the earth resources. SER. Saving earth resources. Saving earth resources. Artificially scarcity, all those cars, increase the value, increase the mechanics, increase it, to make it due certain kind of things to last longer and give appreciations for tax reduction and the R&D departments. So what we can do is to artificially make the material out of certain compounds from soil, from plants, from trees, from chemicals, and injection molding the small plastic cars. Because suppose if the petroleum area is so big area, but there are diamonds, there are minerals, there are gems. So it is, we don't exactly, like, like, even if there is some theory, Einstein's theory, he said E equal to mc square, because c is the speed of light. But there are planets with blue light, with yellow light, with green light, with red light. So they have different lights and different particle imitation. समझ ना? So earth has a magnetic field which is rotating each other. So if suppose there is a core inside certain star which is rotating and then stop, and rotating and then stop, and then it is rotating in a full direction like that, like a differential of the car, and it can give, it is a self boost, so it doesn't need a sun and doesn't need a magnetic field. If there is no magnetic field, then it is a different kind of environment. Something what it is about, it's not, then it is not rotating. So rotation is mandatory for the particles to sustain, for the light to emit back, for the whole earth. समझना? So the particles, the viruses, it got destroys and this with the solar light. But there is a different kind of, we are talking about the universal research. So what I am telling you is, so is it's the theory that if you rotate it faster, it can go out of the gravity. But that theory can be proved wrong in future, because I am not sure 110% that it is the elements which is slowing down the earth. Okay, so those plates are not much, it is just 20% of the planet. And in the history we see that there is a plate which destroyed and they got struck, scattered it up. So it is kind of like a gravitational control, is someone have the gravitational control, which when they stop the gravity on one plate, it moves back on the direction, and then it puts the gravity on back on, something like that. So maybe some forces or change the magnetic field or the core on the certain part and move that plate particularly on the axis. So those things are calibrated. This is again is a rough theory. We don't know exactly how they do it, how they did, and how they will do it in the future. समझना? So but that's the thing. Okay. So what I proposed is to make a space station with like, if we put two small cores with less energy, less intensity, we can make it out of, if it can be the core from other materials also. Some of it's a helium and hydrogen, but there can be another materials also. So it is not to that, but they have been doing this research already, but research for a long time back. There was stars, and because in the Hindu philosophy, in the Sikh philosophy in 1600, and the Hindu philosophy 5000 years back, they said there are so many planets, there are so many stars. And then they say, oh, this is plow, this is cow in the sky, and this is that the identification of the stars that has been done. And then there is the astrology, they are computers. So it is the supercomputers. Astrology and supercomputers was there 5000 years back, 10,000 years back, and 13 billion years back when the universal solar system was formed. And we don't know how many stars and universes are there. So any Hindu philosophy knows that the Brahma, their planet, their one day is like 1 million day, something like that on Earth. If it's the core rotates slower, suppose 1 minute takes, Earth rotates for 1 million year, and that takes 1 minute to rotate that much. So the same time will be 1 minute for them. So it is, those things are time lags between the situations, and so they don't care. So what they do is they do the British style. So American style is every time you go to analyze, you watch them, you behave them, you work with on them, there's something like that. The numbers, the cars, the tickets, and all those kind of stuff. Those are American style behavior. And another behavior is British style behavior. You train the person from the beginning, from the womb, once is born, then you train them at a certain direction, and then you leave it. Then he follows the things for whole life, just in molding the brain. All those kind of stuff. So so those theories, we don't know what the theories are, exact numbers, the exact mass of the light, exactly how they create the metal projection. So metal projection, so certain things are which should be the topic of research for the companies and the people, so that they don't have a job loss, or they can rotate the job, and easily they can rotate it into the recycling and make it the perfect things. So one is metal extraction from the asteroids. So which we I could propose that we can make a streak and take out the material, and bring take out the asteroid out of the orbit and take it to the Earth. And then we can do the research on the remote areas. Suppose in the Antarctica we take that there, so that it doesn't, because we don't know how it's going to react to the oxygen, how it if we cut it up, there can be some gas which leaks up, it can react the whole thing. So those things has to wear the full body clothes and structure and have to have oxygen. And then we need to do the research and cutting it up, and then you need a nuclear cutting up, and then if it is there is a contamination, you have to think about it. It's a huge thing, it's a huge science behind it. But anyway, those things again, it takes time. It's all out of the shapes. It's not like the earth shape. If you take it up, and we don't know, you have to predict which element is inside that, inside the asteroid. You have to think, someone has platinum, someone has titanium, someone has steel, someone has iron, someone has some different iron. So it is not all made of same material. So those materials also have magnetic powers. So not only the iron has the magnetic power, but over the time certain ores because if it is a purely taken one element, so they cannot have the ferrous channelization of the atom to make the magnetic field. एक मिनट मैं वीडियो बनाना पाया. So but if it is iron ore, so if it is 100%, so 25% there is irons and 25% is the steel, that goes with some other ore or some alloy or some mixture of something. And if we create the magnetic field, and it can give it as a ferrous properties, which attracts it and keeps it in the orbit. Suppose if it is a 100 kg asteroid, and we only need 2 kg to keep it into the orbit, 2 kg of the iron to keep it in the orbit, and rest will be the other metals. So that is a different story. The Tyson, American scientist, physicist, he proposed that it's a good idea. He understands what I proposed, what he thinks is a good thing for future. So, and also it shows in the movie, some TV show, that it is a good thing. So in future we can do that, to take the orbit and take all the material and other stuff. समझना. And the other thing is so I think, so suppose if the tectonic plate is same like a asteroid, if there is a certain kind of ironized thing, and it is there's so two sun cores inside it, which is because the asteroid doesn't have a core inside. So these things are different. It has to be analyzed properly. It takes time. It's gonna take another 50 to 100 years probably to manage to make the theory perfect, the universal theories, to understand the lights and structures. You need another James Webb like telescope to capture the light and take the speed, how it is falling, how it is behaving, how the hexacore is behaving, how the elements research, how there is a different kind of course. The so man, all those, it's going to take another 100 years to just get the numbers out of it. But again, to control it, it's going to create another 500 to 1,000 years to create the research and experimentation and the exact conditions on the earth to understand those things and to make the space stations based on that with this hexacore with this so new kind of satellites which we can launch and people can move there and all those kind of stuff. We can have certain things remotely, the nebula, and make the tectonic plate outside with the dual sun and rotate it on the Earth's orbit, certain kinds of thing, and on other planets. So suppose if we don't said there is no life on Neptune, there's no life on Uranus, just put a two dual core and make a one tectonic plate out of a material like suppose if we can make a plastic tectonic plate with a blast with electrical chemistry and put it in the mold with a water mold inside the earth, we make it that, and then that plate has certain kind of iron streak inside which is needed exact amount to sustain the two cores outside the earth, and then we can launch that plate up there. We can launch that plate up there and put it in the orbit and put two suns and trap the plate with a plastic plate with iron, exactly how much iron needs, like like in the nuclear plant we put the rods in, we can put the rods in the plastic, rotate it, and that can be boom. So another 100 years is going to take us to calculate all the theories, the code, the light, the structures, the artificial synthesis of materials, and then to manage the materials, existing resources of the material. Another 100 years, at least 100 years it's going to take. And for the exact calculation, exact the chemical reactions to create the core, hexacore, the secondary core, the like all those kind of things, if you want to create it on earth and understand its chemistry, and then make the small satellites on the other planets with the living inhabited capabilities. So those things is going to take another 1,000 years, so another 1,000 to 500 years, another 500 years. So those things are out of the research topic because there is poverty, there is still plastic problem, there is still humans are being destroyed, there is so much things to worry about more. The things are more about more, so those topics are just to keep it for the science and people and students and for future and science fiction movies and TV shows and all those kind of stuff. So those will be the topics and structures and all those kind of stuff. And then now the thing is another 500 years companies. So now the companies is going to be injection molding cars, ships, and the thrust and the weight, the tectonic plate weight is the best topic for energy production. समझा? You make a material like like 200 meter 200 meter thin plate, inject it in the drill the hole and inject the material like 200 kilometers down to the earth, or 50 kilometers or 1 kilometer, or how, based on the need, and then based on the earth weight it creates the heat, and that creates the electric potential. Just put a wire on electric potential and you get the electricity for life. Don't need to do anything, just the weight, and done, all done. You don't need to worry about the solar panel, the dust, the cells. You don't have to, exactly, you get the energy instantaneously. Don't have to worry about the wind, the power, how it's structuring, how it is behaving. The wind is rotating. If it is rotating, then there is a rotational fatigue on the propellers. If there is a breakage, then there is a battery, then you need another transportation cost and all those kind of stuff. So wherever the city is, drill the hole, put a patch, 200-meter slide with the weight, and then you get the heat, you get small tube you can make without, you don't need a plate, you just put a small tube inside with the earth weight, you get energy instantaneously. So those things is good. And the fusion power is good, but the problem is if it goes into the wrong hands, you put the diversity, you put it in the wrong hands, it's the problem. So that's why I didn't want you to mix the Britishers with other country people. And then another thing is that do not put that globalized. If you globalize, so basically what I recommend you guys is to make an organization above your atomic research as the energy production of the world, or energy production of British Empire or British Commonwealth energy production, and then launch the companies based on that. समझा? So there are around 5,000 to 10,000 cities, around 10,000 small cities and small, and then there is another around 1 lakh towns in the world, and then there is another around 2 to 3 lakh, 5 lakh villages. समझा? So they don't have the steel capability. You need a mining, you need a transportation, then you need a manage all those, the voltage fluctuators and all those, and then the transformers and the managing the situation and all those, and then you need a people controllers and all those kind of stuff. So if you go with the energy and keep this fusion powered in only in Commonwealth and rest of the world, you provide energy with, and the fluctuating electromagnetic production of electric potential. So that is the topic, that you fluctuate with the small electric power, which can be solar powered or which can be thermal powered, something like that. It's fluctuating, because if it is a stator power, it gives small energy and takes so much mechanical power. With just 1 to 2% of the energy you need, with the fluctuating, you reduce the price, you reduce the cost, you reduce the size, and then you commercialize it, and and all those kind of stuff. And other thing is and the other thing is to manage the resources. The Department of Energy in United States can make certain things, because in US is so big, and it's all developed, and inside US has so much problems, so much energy things, because coal mining and other plants, it has to be all the Bill Gates and all those people, they can invest, because they are already retired. So better give something to the society. Don't just take the money and give it to your children. So just better give something to the society, to help the people, and whatever it is. And the other thing is and the other thing is and the other thing is so what I'm not I don't want to, so those things are separate. So what is the 4 year term is kind of like a treasury. Takes your money, manage it for 4 years, to manage companies, to manage the company, then the government reputation, then the party reputation, and then the the legacy of the person. समझे? So so those things are separate than the other department run in running of the issues.